Level 1, the boy. You are 7 years old and your mother is weeping. She knows what comes next. Every Spartan boy is evaluated at birth, inspected by elders who decide if you're strong enough to live. You pass that test. Now comes the second test. You're being taken from your home to the agoge, the state training system that will either forge you into a warrior or destroy you in the attempt. Your father doesn't comfort your mother. He doesn't comfort you. Sentiment is weakness, and Sparta has no room for weakness. The barracks smell like sweat and fear. 50 boys sleep on reed mats, no blankets, no pillows. The floors are deliberately uncomfortable. Comfort breeds softness. You're assigned to a group, your pack. These boys will be your brothers, your rivals, your only family for the next 13 years. The older boys watch you with predatory interest. Fresh meat. Your first night they beat you, not the instructors, the older students. This is tradition. They're testing you, seeing if you'll cry, if you'll break, if you're worth their time. You don't cry. You learn that much from your father. Show pain and it gets worse. You take the beating and you remember every face. The food is intentionally insufficient. You're always hungry. This is by design. Sparta wants you to steal, to forage, to take what you need through cunning and courage. But if you're caught stealing, you're beaten savagely. Not for stealing, for being clumsy enough to get caught. The lesson is clear. Survival requires both boldness and skill. You learn to fight every single day. Wrestling, boxing, pancration. No rules, no mercy, no stopping until someone submits or can't continue. Your nose breaks twice before you're 10. You lose a tooth. You gain scars that will mark you forever. The instructors watch these fights with clinical detachment, noting who has aggression, who has technique, who has the will to continue when their body screams to quit. The physical training is relentless. You run until you vomit. You do exercises until your muscles fail. You train in summer heat and winter cold, always barefoot, always underdressed. The weather is just another enemy to overcome. You're taught to read and write, but only enough to be functional. Philosophy and art are for Athenians. You're being built for one purpose, war. Level 2, the youth. You are 14. Your body is changing, hardening into something dangerous. The training intensifies. Now you learn actual weapons, spear and shield, the tools that define Spartan warfare. The shield is heavy, deliberately so. You'll carry it for miles. You'll hold it in formation for hours. Drop it once during drill and you're beaten. Drop it in battle and you're a coward. Spartans return with their shield or on it. There is no third option. You're sent into the countryside with nothing. No food, no weapons, minimal clothing. Survive for a week. This is the krypteia, though you don't know that name yet. You eat what you can catch or steal. You sleep in ditches. You become an animal and you discover something useful. You're good at this. The discomfort that breaks other boys barely registers. You've been uncomfortable your entire life. But there's a darker purpose to the krypteia. At night, you're given a knife and sent to hunt helots, the slave population that outnumbers Spartans 10 to 1. This isn't murder. This is practice. This is policy. Keep the helots terrified. Keep them subservient. Keep them from ever organizing rebellion. You kill your first human at 15, a helot man walking alone after dark. You come from behind. The knife goes in easier than you expected. He makes a sound you'll never forget, but you don't hesitate. Hesitation in Sparta is death. Your pack is shrinking. Some boys have died in training accidents. One drowned during a river crossing exercise. One took a spear thrust wrong during combat drills and bled out before the instructors bothered to intervene. 2 were expelled for cowardice, sent home in disgrace to families who will never forgive the shame. The survivors are harder now, leaner, more vicious. You trust them with your life because you have no choice. The instructors increase the brutality. You fight with real weapons now. Injuries are expected. Scars are proof of commitment. You learn to keep fighting with broken fingers, with cuts that need stitching, with pain that would stop a normal person cold. Pain is just information. Information can be ignored. You're 17 when everything changes. The instructors announce the next phase, the krypteia, the secret service. Only some of you will be selected. The rest will continue standard training. But those chosen will become something else entirely. Hunters, assassins, the hidden blade of Sparta. You're chosen. Level 3, the shadow. You're 18 now. The krypteia selection was brutal. Half your remaining pack was dismissed. You made it through because you've become exactly what Sparta needs. Cold, efficient, remorseless. Your new training happens in darkness. You learn to move without sound across any terrain. You learn to kill silently with blade, with hands, with improvised weapons. You learn to read tracks, to predict movement patterns, to think like prey so you can hunt like a predator. The instructors are different here. Older, scarred in ways that suggest stories they'll never tell. They teach you what the regular army doesn't know: how to infiltrate enemy camps, how to sabotage supply lines, how to eliminate targets and disappear before the body is discovered. You spend months in the wilderness, sometimes alone, sometimes in pairs. You're given objectives: a helot leader organizing resistance, a Persian spy gathering intelligence, a corrupt official selling Spartan secrets. You find them, you end them, you return with proof. No one celebrates these missions. No one even acknowledges them officially. This work exists in the gaps between history and legend. Your first real assignment takes you north. A helot village has been withholding grain, quietly stockpiling weapons. The ephors want it handled before rebellion spreads. You go in with 3 others. You wait until the village sleeps. The leaders die first, throats cut in their beds. Then the fighters, the young men who might organize resistance. 14 kills in total. Surgical. Silent. The village wakes to find its leadership gone, and the hidden weapons confiscate. D. The message is clear: obey or vanish. You feel nothing about this. That's the point. Level 4. The warrior. You're 20. You've survived the agoge. You're initiated into the Syssitia, the mess groups where Spartan warriors eat and live together. This is your family now. 15 men who will fight beside you, die beside you, judge your every action. The man to your left is Cleomenes, battle-scarred, 25, already a veteran of 2 campaigns. He's hard in ways you're still learning. The man to your right is Aristodemos, your age, your equal in the krypteia. You trust him more than anyone alive. Your first battle comes fast. Sparta's enemies never rest. You march north with 5,000 warriors to meet an Argive invasion. The phalanx forms, 8 ranks deep. You're in the 3rd rank because you're new. The veterans take the killing positions in front. The shields lock, bronze overlapping bronze. Your world shrinks to the man ahead, the man beside you, the press of bodies and metal. The enemy crashes into your formation like a wave hitting rock. The sound is incredible. Shields colliding, spears breaking, men screaming. You can't see the enemy clearly, just shapes and movement and the points of spears seeking gaps in the formation. The man in front of you goes down, spear through the neck. You step forward automatically. No thought, just training. Now you're in the 2nd rank. Now you're thrusting your spear into flesh that resists and then yields. You kill 3 men in as many minutes. They're just obstacles, just targets, just problems to solve with bronze. The phalanx holds, it always holds. That's what makes Sparta invincible. The Argives break first. They always do. You pursue for a mile, cutting down runners, showing no mercy because mercy is weakness. The battlefield after is something no one prepares you for. Hundreds of bodies, the smell of opened bowels and spilled blood, the sounds of the dying. You walk through it untouched, not physically. You're covered in other men's blood, but mentally you're fine. This is what you were built for. Level 5, the veteran. You're 25, 5 campaigns behind you. 17 battles. You've lost count of individual kills. The Syssitia respects you now. You're not the new man anymore. You've proven yourself in ways that matter. Cleomenes fell at Mantinea, took an arrow in the eye during the pursuit. You carried his body back because that's what warriors do. Aristodemos commands his own unit now. You see him rarely. Your reputation grows, not for glory or heroism. Those are Athenian concepts. You're known for reliability, for coldness under pressure, for doing what's necessary without hesitation or complaint. The younger warriors watch you the way you once watched the veterans, looking for signs of weakness, finding none. You're sent on solo missions now, deep reconnaissance into enemy territory, assassinations that need absolute discretion. You disappear for weeks, returning with intelligence that shapes Spartan strategy. The ephors know your name. That's rare. That's dangerous. Being noticed means being used, but it also means trust. Level 6, the officer. You're 30. The Ephors appoint you Lokagos, commander of a Lokos, 600 men who answer to you. This is power. This is responsibility. This is where most warriors fail. Combat is simple. Leadership is complex. You manage egos, resolve disputes, maintain discipline without breaking morale. Your decisions kill men or keep them alive. The weight sits differently than you expected. You train your Lokos harder than other units train. They hate you for it. Then they survive battles that destroy softer units. Then they understand. Your Lokos develops a reputation. The Ephors send you to the worst fights, the impossible positions, the battles that need winning regardless of cost. You deliver, always. Your losses are acceptable. Your victories are consistent. That's all Sparta asks. Level 7, the Polemarch. You're 35. The kings themselves appoint you war leader, Polemarch of the entire army. Only 6 men in Sparta hold higher military rank. You command 20,000 warriors. You plan campaigns that determine whether Sparta expands or contracts. Your strategies are studied, copied, feared. You meet with the Ephors weekly, with the kings monthly. You understand politics now. War is just politics conducted with bronze. Every battle serves interests beyond the battlefield. Territory, trade routes, alliances, warnings to potential enemies. You learn to think like the enemy, anticipate their moves, exploit their assumptions about how Spartans fight. Sometimes you retreat when you could win because the victory costs more than it's worth. Sometimes you accept defeat in one theater to win in another. The mathematics of war are brutal but clear. Your personal kills don't matter anymore. You haven't fought in the phalanx in 2 years. You direct from elevated positions, watching the battle unfold, sending reserves where they're needed, exploiting breaks in enemy lines. It feels like cheating, like you've abandoned the warrior's path, but this is the warrior's path. Just a different section. Level 8, the king's champion. You're 40. King Leonidas chooses you as his personal champion. This is the highest honor a warrior can receive without royal blood. You stand beside the king in council. You lead his personal guard. You advise on matters of war and state. When foreign ambassadors arrive with threats, you stand silent behind the throne. Your presence is the message. Sparta does not negotiate from weakness. Your reputation precedes you everywhere. Other city-states know your name. They tell stories about your campaigns, inflated and distorted, but rooted in truth. You've become legend while still breathing. It's uncomfortable. Legends are supposed to be dead, but Sparta needs living legends, needs enemies to see what perfect warriors look like. You train every day still. Older warriors grow soft. You refuse. Your body is scarred, damaged, held together by will and discipline, but you can still fight, still kill, still terrify younger men who think age means weakness. Level 9, the Elder. You're 50. Your fighting days are finished. A spear wound to the hip that never healed properly. You walk with a slight limp. You can't hold formation for extended periods. Sparta has no use for broken warriors, except you're not useless. The Ephors appoint you to the Gerousia, the Council of Elders, 28 men over 60 who advise, judge, shape policy. You're the youngest member by a decade. This is recognition of a different kind. Your mind matters now, your experience, your understanding of how wars are won before the first spear is thrown. You judge criminal cases. You debate foreign policy. You vote on declarations of war. The young warriors you once commanded now seek your counsel. You're generous with it. You remember what it felt like to be young and certain and afraid to show it. Level 10, the Legend. You're 65. Your name is carved in stone at the Temple of Artemis, alongside the greatest warriors in Spartan history. Children learn about your campaigns. Warriors invoke your example when courage fails. You've outlived most of your generation. Cleomenes, Aristodemos, hundreds of others. Gone to battles you survived. You sit in the sun outside your small house. Your wife, married at 30, sits beside you. Your sons are warriors now. One commands a Lokos. One died at Thermopylae beside King Leonidas. That grief never fades, but pride lives alongside it. He died the Spartan way. You trained him. You shaped him. He did his duty. Some mornings you wake and forget you're old. Your mind returns to battles decades past. Your body reminds you quickly. The scars ache. The old wounds protest movement. But you're alive. That's victory enough. You survived the agoge, the krypteia, 40 years of war. You became exactly what Sparta demanded, a weapon without hesitation, a warrior without equal, the perfect embodiment of their cruel system. And sitting here in the sun, watching your grandchildren play, you wonder if it was worth it. The answer doesn't matter. This is what you are. This is what you'll always be, a Spartan warrior, until death. You lived the only life Sparta permitted. 7 years old to 65, every stage measured in blood and discipline. The system broke most boys before they turned 12. You survived because you learned to become stone. The agoge stripped away everything soft, everything human, everything unnecessary for war. What remained was pure function, a weapon shaped by deprivation and violence into something that could hold a phalanx line when other men broke. The cost sits in your bones now. The friends who didn't make it, the helots you murdered in the darkness, the enemies whose faces you still see, the son who died doing exactly what you taught him. Sparta gave you purpose, identity, brotherhood, glory. Sparta took everything else, and you do it again. Because this is what being Spartan means. You don't question the path, you walk it until you can't.